Silly. Oh, sorry. I was zoned out. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday. Yay! Yesterday, I'm so happy it's Friday. I'm one of those people that if I have a bad day, I just look forward to the next day because that in itself is a blessing. But yesterday, oh my God, guys. Um, okay, so my mail's still being held hostage. We're waiting for the postal person. There's a government issued person that does the locks. So this is like day 7. So poor Faith, she has to do this dance, like a tango. So the mail usually comes when she gets off of school. She gets off of school at 2:15. It usually comes between 2:15 and 3:15. So she puts on her little Crocs and she goes in and out of the house like every 5 minutes to catch it because we don't want to see the postman go on to the other houses and then ask him, even though he would come back and drive around and do it. That's not his job to unlock the mail for us. So, but if we can catch him when he's filling up our our section's townhouse's mail thing, then he'll just give it to Faith because he sees the ticket. He knows that we're waiting for our key. So I finally got I finally got my sewing blurb, which came like 2 days ago. It's just my mail is held hostage. Fabric for a trailblazer that I need to make tomorrow, and an NCW that I'm making tomorrow. And I scored one of Jess Okaroot's templates for the snack bag because I wanted to make a lot of them with the scraps that I have, like the fandom scraps for the two or three conventions I have coming up. So that way there's a small price. I like to have a range from $5 to whatever. I last time I had a Wonder Woman bag that cost $4.95, and that was like the first bag that sold. Um, so I had we I, that was a good thing. The bad thing is Loki definitely has to be sedated. He is jumping around like he has not a care in the world, and I really am reluctant about pain medicine for anybody. So um I gave it to him yesterday and he was really acting lethargic, and he's still bleeding because they had to put different sutures in because he apparently rejected the invisible one. So he wants to lay on the couch, he wants to lay on everything. So we're like putting blankets and sheets over everything. Um, I made all my pattern pieces for the narcissist. I cut out the label, not the label, the flap and the two straps that we're gonna have down with this beautiful Harry Potter white, like Louis Vuitton-ish print that my friend made for me like 2, 3 years ago. I one realized when I after I cut out the flap that I didn't have enough materials to make the bag. So that was strike one. Strike two is when I edge painted it with the neon. Um, I messed up. And then Loki kept nudging me, and I had edge paint all over my clothes, all over my shorts, all over my legs. It was just one of those days where like a lot of little things were going wrong, and it was hot. So we had to put the AC on. And right now when I went to go get coffee, it's cold. Like I was like, "Oh, I'm going to go out with my short sleeves." This is how we get sick, weather. This is how we get sick. And my head hurt, and I just had a really bad day. And then to top it off, I went to bed late. I went to bed around midnight. I got up at 1 because if Kendall's downstairs, I can't like fully go into RM sleep without him. So I'm like, it's 1 o'clock. What are you doing? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I fell asleep on the couch. He came back up. He started snoring like he was calling the cows. He was like a pig, and I couldn't go to sleep until 4:45 to go to bed to get back up at 6:25 because I had a horrible dream about snakes. Like I'm petrified of snakes. I'm intrigued on what they can do, but I'm petrified of snakes. I will hold a spider, a iguana, whatever else, but I will not hold a snake. So, um, and then I got up at 7 and that was it. That's all she wrote. And I'm tired. But I have coffee, so that's good. And I got a kid some donuts, so that's good. But today I plan on taking it nice and easy because I'm exhausted and just like really monitor Loki. He was doing better. It's kind of weird. I feel like Loki is his own little entity because he's mischievous, but he's super cute and he does a lot of good stuff too. But he likes to get into anything. But if you're like folding towels, like he'll grab the edge of the towel. If you fling fabric anywhere around him, he's going after it. He loves my Hope's Beanie Boos, any stuffed animal, anything that's like fluffy, like socks, he's going after it. So we know this, but we constantly forget it on a daily basis. So he jumped onto the couch and we were like freaking out because he's not supposed to jump on a couch. He's not supposed to jump on a bed. And I blame myself because I was too busy cutting and doing other things when I should have just had my eyes on this pup. Um, but he's doing good. He's eating and he's drinking. He's going for the walks. It's just he just gets frustrated when he has to just like stay still. And that's just like any other toddler or kid. No kid wants to stay still all day. Like even Faith, even if she's binge watching something, like right now she's binge watching Buffy. And so she's going over Buffy episodes play by play. And I'm like, I've already seen this season. I've seen every season of Buffy. No, man, I love Buffy. I could probably go into some kind of trivia pursuit. So, but now she's watching it and she's like, oh, it's so retro. One way to make your mom feel old is to say Buffy and Angels retro. it's, it's vintage. I just want to say Buffy graduated class of 99. I don't feel like that's old, okay? Loki's doing good. He's just trying to do the most. So his wound is still like it doesn't bleed nonstop, but if he's too overactive, it does bleed. So we have to put like blankets on everything and sheets on everything. Um, and then trying to keep Roxy and him away from each other is another thing all too. Because Roxy just wants to play tug of war and roughhouse and he can't do that right now. So he's doing pretty good. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to the weekend because then I have another adult here for 24 hours a day so I can handle some business downstairs. Um, because trying to sew and trying to like watch Loki is I'm not good at it. I'm not because again, I've already expressed that I'm a hyper focused person. When I'm focusing on one task, that's all I can focus on. Yes, today will be a better day, way better day. I have an idea for a Michael Kors bag based off of the Celine, and I want to come up with that because right now on Patreon we're voting on what bag we're going to make modifications for, and I have a tendency of trying to make one or two bags before they vote to see if it might be something they're interested in. And I have a really cool idea for the Celine that it has been in my mind for like 6 months and the Celine is fairly easy for me to sew. Like I don't even look at the directions. So I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it into a Lord of the Ring theme because AwesomeCon is going to have Elijah Wood and the guy that played Sam, the guy that was in the Goonies. I always forget his name. I don't know, but you guys know because you watched the Goonies and you've seen Lords of the Ring. He was Samwise, so he's going to be there too. They have like a lot of the hobbits that are going to be there at AwesomeCon, so I'm going to make a couple more Lord of the Ring theme bags because that's how it works. You got to kind of figure out the fandoms of the people that are going to be there and make bags to suit that need. And because I love Lord of the Ring, this is not going to be a problem with me. I'm going to be mixing my handmade space is green moss faux suede with this dark emerald green cork. And the lining is going to either be zombie bunny fabric for Lord of the Ring, or I got a Lord of the Ring print from Notorious last year during their book round. That's going to be the lining. Yeah, Buffy's retro. Yeah, they said it was gonna Teresa, they said that because of the way these sutures are not the invisible ones inside of him, that he may bleed for a few days. So it's not like profusely. It's just like if he does something like trying to, he likes to do the scene where he sits on his hind legs and tries to put his paws on you. Um, yeah, he's like, I sedated him yesterday, but then it's like he got used to the sedation medicine and still wanted to play. Like his will is stronger than the medicine. So Kendall gave him medicine this morning. I need to touch bases to see if he gave him the sedative because right now he's with Faith and he's just chilling on the couch, and the other two kids are still asleep, so it's fine. But when the other ones come down, especially Hope, because like Hope is his girl, he wants to play. He's a baby. He's not even two yet, so he wants to play, and that's what they, you know, normally want to do. So I'm definitely going to call them again. But yeah, Sean Austin. Um, oh, Terry, I have so many sewing machines. So if you tell me what video I sewed something on, I can tell you. Most of the time, I sew on my 5550 in Juki. The reason why I love it is I can make garments on it, and I can do bags, and I can sew some leathers and some corks. It's not a walking foot machine, but it's a machine that they usually use in like industry work. Like I had a friend that worked in the fashion district, and she helped with Levi's. They made jeans and they used the 5550 in. So jean, if you work with denim ever, you know that's not a thin material whatsoever. So they used an industrial serger down the inseams, but then when they're like hemming and putting like the zipper part together, they use the 5550. So that was like a huge choice for me to make that one because a lot of factory workers also in China and Japan, they use either the 8700 or the 5550 to make garments. And when I was watching some of the Coach videos, like if you're going to buy industrial, I highly recommend you to look at YouTube videos for factory workers. If you look at Coach and Louis Vuitton, a lot of the linings or a lot of the detail works on the exterior, they're usually in the 8700 or A5550 because they're sisters. One's made in Japan, one is made in China. And they use the heavier machines. I really have never seen the 1541S, but I have seen the 1341, the free arm. So they usually use those two things. I like the 1541S because I understand its rhythm. It's like a dance. We are both partners and we've danced with each other for so long that we know all our little tips and tricks for each other. I croon and I soothe that one. That's my favorite machine. The 1341S is I didn't like it the first 6 months I had it. And then after I started like dabbling and getting into the rhythm of that too, I started loving it. But there's not a machine I don't love. So the 5550 in is similar to the Juki 2010 QVP Mini, except it has a more powerful motor and it can go faster than that machine. But I use all the feet from the QVP Mini. They're essentially the same machine, except one has its motor outside and it's a more powerful motor. And with that being said, you can also change out the feed dogs. You can get Teflon feed dogs, you can get heavy duty feed dogs, and slow feed dogs. Because I like to make silk bonnets for my hair, and the girls' hair, we line our beanies with them, and I sew silk on it all the time. All you have to do is change out the feed dogs. It's kind of I like the Juki QVP Mini. But I felt like the motor wasn't strong enough, so therefore I couldn't go through a lot. And I feel differently about the 5550N when it essentially does use the same like feet. Like all my feet are just like the Jukis. So it's fine. But then the cool thing is the feed dogs you get to really be able to change. I'm not too sure if you could change the feed dogs on the QVP Mini. I know you can change the throat plates to having a smaller one to a heavy duty. And I've noticed of a lot of people change their throat plate. If you call Juki, you can get the throat plate, the heavy duty one. People can sew through it. A lot of people are not aware that there's two different throat plates. Because the regular QVP Mini comes with a small throat plate, and it makes things difficult, and you'll start seeing dents around the hole because you're working with like heavier materials like cork, leather, whatever. But if you change out the throat plate, it is a whole different ball game. Yeah, I had a QVP Mini and I changed it for the 5550 after a lot of different consideration. I changed it mostly because I was able to use Teflon feed dogs and foot at the same time. Because my only problem with the QVP Mini is that we get teeth mark on everything. And a lot of people like to sand down their feet, and I don't. I don't. Now you go buy feet that are sand down, like even for the Juki could leave the 1541S can leave feet marks, like the teeth can go in it. Same with the 1341S. But like Steve from Sewing Gold, he has actually feed dogs that you could put in that you will work with leather that will leave no teeth mark or tractions. It's just the little things. Somebody said this all the time. I hear people saying it all the time. It's not sometimes the machine, it's the tools. Learning about your machine fully and what it's capable of can make the biggest difference in the world. If you go into any Juki Junkie groups or any Juki groups, if you change the throat plate, you will be able to sew heavier materials. Yeah, the heavy duty plate is a game changer because, like, I think it's amazing. And if you have an 8700 or a 5550N, talk to Steve, because actually when I first got it, I was playing around with it and I liked the feed dogs that came with it. I was like, but can I get heavy ones? And he's like, I've never put heavy ones on. I bought them, he sent them to me, and we went over videos and it works great. Then I found out that you can get Teflon feed dogs. And I was like, oh shoot. And that's why you see a lot of videos with me doing this. Like I made the beast from Ora Rosa on there. If you looked at that video, I'm not on my, I have one on my 1541S. The slow one where we break it down into 6 parts was on the 5550. Like the Michael bag that was last season's from Creations. It's a luggage thing. I made it on the 5550. So I honestly believe whatever bag I want to make on the other machine, I can. The only thing that I've said this numerous times is thread. It depends. I showed you guys the bag that I'm promoting today is again the tiny quilted bees. If you look at my stitching on the black bag, it is because it's the 5550. I wanted the stitching to be so small because I wanted the crocodile print to be prevalent. I did not want my stitching to be an accent feature. I wanted it to blend. Normally, if you look at my bags, you'll see like really thick stitching and the stitching is contrasting, because normally I like to use my contrast stitching as like hardware. Like it's a feature on there that is like blinging out. Um, so it all depends on the thread, because I don't have an abundance amount of thread. I need to up my thread game, but if there's something that I want that one machine has and I don't have on the other one, that's why I'm sewing on it. Yes, Valerie, I agree. I 100% agree with you. I think that this is a part of it. Just like I told you guys, I wanted to smash. How many times did I tell you guys I wanted to smash my circuit? Not my circuit, my silhouette. And I'm still doing it. When I finally cut out a whole bag on there without any issues, I almost cried, because this is a part of the process. I think you have to go through the struggles. You have to go through the mistakes to understand and go over them. That's why I say in a lot of my bag videos, if you make a mistake, there's a chance that we can fix it. But if you like give up, you're not learning from this process. And that's the same thing with your with your machines. I learned during this Loki during the summer. I don't know. I think he can't play with Roxy Faith. Um, During the summer, I sew with my Bernina 1008. because my kids are either outside in the front of the house or in the back of the house, or they're doing something in the front. And so just to keep an eye on them, I sew upstairs, and I usually sew all my linings on there first, and I like the stitches on my Bernina. And then I'll just sew bags. Like if you are familiar with Toby Styles, the first bag that I made for her was the Orca, the yellow Mora, and I sewed that all on my Bernina. And then I've showed pictures on my Instagram where I'm sewing everything on my brother's domestic embroidery machine, but it turns into a regular domestic machine all the time. I think it's about knowing what kind of materials you are able to do with your bags, how fast you can go. Do you need a walking foot? Do you need to increase or decrease your stitch length? It's just getting to know your machines. Once you get to know your machines, then you're going to know all of its little ins and outs. Like somebody else said this the other day, and I was like, I thought it was the only one. I think it was, yeah, it was Kasaya's Live, where she can visibly hear in her Keen's machine that her bobbin was going to go out. There's no sensor. I do the same thing. I can feel when my bobbin's about to go out. You'll hear me say, I'm about to lose bobbin. You get to know your machine so well when you practice on it and you give it the time. It's going to suck sometimes. Like, oh my God, I hated my 1541S for like 4 months. I hated it. It just didn't pivot right. And like whenever I would try to go in like an angle, go up and across, it would have that weird string that it like missed a stitch. It was driving me nuts. I mean, there's ways you can fix that too, and I can show you guys that at another time. With just a needle and the needle and thread, you can fix it, and nobody will know the difference. But I had the hardest time, and I realized that I have to put when I stop, I need to put my handle all the way down until it feels like it's about to go up, and then I never have that issue. It's just little things that you got to learn from your machine. And I'm still learning new things from my machine. I didn't feel the bobbin thing until about 8 months ago, where I can hear the difference in my bobbin about to go out. You can hear it. It sounds so different from a full bobbin. But when you first get the machine, you don't hear that difference. Okay, have a good Easter weekend too. Yep, I used to use the throat plate, because like if I showed you my first throat plate, you'll be like, Shanova. It was messed up. It was like to the point where the hole, like if you put your finger on it, it would cut you, because I was using thicker needles, and it just didn't accommodate with the regular size throat plate. Yeah, and that's it. Like I think a lot of people, even with machines, like it took the reason why I don't like Brother Scannicut is probably different from everybody else. Um, the reason why I chose to go with Circuit is that I was able to use designs from other places. Now you can use designs from other places on it, but Canvas does not like designs from other Etsy or whatever. They want you to use Brother stuff. And I have an issue when a machine only wants you to use, it's kind of like the Ditto. You hear everybody talking about that right now. Everybody wants that projector machine, but it costs one, $800. Two, you only can use patterns from Ditto. You can't use any other pattern. So you have to buy the patterns that come with it. Like you can't upload other patterns. I'm pretty sure there's someone that's tech savvy that can do this, but that makes me not want to get the machine, because you're like, I have all these other patterns. I would love to use a projector, but having it exclusively these only patterns for this, it kind of sucks. Now their patterns are pretty cool because they're size inclusive. So they have everything from like a -0 to like a size 50, whatever. Really cool. But if you're not familiar with the patterns, or you don't like the style, then how does that benefit you? Or how did all those AO files that you have for different stuff, like I am a sucker for Gertie charmed patterns, I can't use it on that, then what's the point? Like, and they're saying that they'll get it, but I don't want to invest money in eventually. And that was my problem with the Brother Scannicut. I love the fact that you're able to scan things, but that could be frustrating on its own too. If your mat has any lint, anything on it, it will pick it up and it will cut it. And it took me a long time to like learn how to put my mats up and make sure that there's nothing on the mat until I did it. And it's really hard because it's a sticky surface. Um, and canvas was I find it easy to maneuver, but again, it like if I got SVGs from Etsy from like I don't know, let's say the Lord of the Ring, the elvish writing, it would fight me. It would like completely fight me. And the cutting technique, they had deep blades and it's auto sense. And I've had a lot of times where my blades will cut through my mat or the mats lose their stickiness after 1 or 2 use, even if you do the baby wipe, all the other stuff to it. So I had it for 2, 3 years before I thought about even thinking about going somewhere else. Now with the Silhouette, I actually find the software to be easy, and it's also easy because I have Monica. Monica is a Silhouette. She has like 8 of them, and so if I get stuck on something, she can help. And then I also have another friend named Christina that has helped me out when I was like, dude, I am sucking at this right now. Can you help me out? And once they showed me certain things, I was like, oh shoot, this is easy. Like the fact that I can input in my own like pressure, speed, how many times it needs to cut, it was a total game changer for me. I think their blades are better than Brothers. Brothers blades dull incredibly fast, and you don't have the same thing with force and speed. You can do pressure and how many times. I think pressure, but not passes. And there's like, so I don't know. I wanted something that I can grow into and eventually cut different things with. And when I've cut my first bag out, which my first bag was the Aries, and I'm going to make a video for making the Aries real soon. I just got to get another adult here because even though Faith is going to be an adult in so many months, she's very childlike-esque. I'm not mad at that. Stay a child as long as you can. Adulting sometimes is not the best. But I wanted something I can grow into, and I felt like I could. My other option I was going to try to do was get the Romeo, or is it Juliet, from I forgot what they have a lot of cool things they do. They work with the t-shirt things. They have the heat presses, and I think they sell the Romeo and Juliet outside Joann's, but the software was too new, and I rather have something that has an older software that has more capabilities. Kind of like that, people probably are going to wait to get the Ditto for a year or two until it has more capabilities to do more things. So just give your machines the benefit of the doubt and know that it's frustrating, and we all are going through it. We all have went through some kind of frustration, especially if it's a new machine, whether it's a domestic or an industrial. And know that when you fail, it's not a fail. It's just learning. We didn't go into kindergarten knowing our addition and subtractions or multiplications or anything. We gradually learned over time. And that's the one thing we could take from primary school or elementary school, is that it's a gradual learning process. It doesn't happen instant. There are those people that are just amazing that can do things like it just comes naturally. And then there's people that take a little bit longer, like myself. And we just got to bump and bruise, and then we'll learn more. Yeah, there's something with the Berninas. I can tell when my Brabin's about to go out because my Bernina does straight and zigzag, but it's not computerized. The 1008 stopped being made in 1992, or 1999. It's somewhere in the 90s. It's a straight stitch in zigzag machine, but that is like my machine. No one like my favorite stitching is that Bernina. And then what will come in second is the 1341S. I can't explain the stitching between the 1441S and the 1341S is completely different. I cannot explain it. I maybe I can show it. It looks different. The free arm one looks more uniformed versus the 1541S. I love the stitching on my 5550. So it's really hard because I chose black, but see, this is the 5550, and the stitching is so uniformed. Nothing pulled. It's so gorgeous. So like whenever I have a bag like this where I want to show off the print, I usually match the colors and just It is such a beautiful stitch. Now, my 1541 is nice with heavier weights. I don't like the way it looks with 70 weight, but you put 90, 135, and 2 something in here, the chef kiss. This is 1/3. No, this is 90. But the stitching, like the more you look at stuff, the more you can tell the difference in the stitching when I'm making something. And also, I always sit here because I need to buy an overhead light for the 5550. I don't have a light that goes with that, and I never pay attention until I'm filming that. And then I also have lights that come, like you can see the white switches right here. I have lights that come on this side, so the lighting's so good here that's why I always sew on it when I have a chance. Yeah. Juki is a weird one. My stitching is different on every single machine. Yeah, it's a filling, and you could feel like you could feel the bobbin. You're just like, okay, it's gonna give out. And then like, and I don't know why I do this. Like, I'll try to sew faster, like I'm going to win, and I'm like going around a curve. I just appreciate that it's not very often my bobbin goes out while I'm top stitching. It's usually piecing something together. But even if it goes out, if you watch any of my videos and you've seen the top when I'm top stitching, the bobbin goes out, I literally show you how you can fix it. This is why I have a needle at every station. I have like different size needles on magnets, and I'll just grab the thread and I will thread it through and tie it off, and then put my needle exactly back in the hole that it broke off, like this it stopped, and keep going. And you can't tell, like you start learning little tricks and tips. Like top stitching, I don't freak out with anymore because I know how to correct the mistake if I mess up, or I run out of bobbin. And that's the thing. You got to just learn these little tricks, and then it's like, okay, I'm not freaking out about anything. It looks really weird. I just realized that when I sit back here, it looks like she's like blessing me because you can't see. So I just, I was like, wait, what's going on? Why does it look like Ahsoka is like whispering in my ear? Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so I got an altar feed. I got it from something with that's like eBay. Somebody's gonna pop up with it. And Kindle liked Kindle automatically plugged in and it worked. He's excited because he's like, oh, when you're not using it for projecting patterns, you can use it as a TV projector. I'm like, I'm not gonna use it for that. I'm just not you can use it. You can just come in my room and take it, but um I'm not gonna use it for that. Yes, it is a propriety. So that's a huge thing. So that's why I went with Silhouette. And then also I have this rule, like if you're gonna get an embroidery machine, if you can afford a 6 needle, go for the 6 needle if you have the room. If you're gonna be like, I only can afford a domestic, I don't have room for a 6 needle, get the biggest hoop size. So I don't care if it's a Viking, Bernina, Brother, whatever you can afford with the biggest hoop size, that's what you're gonna want. If you go for a 5x7 or whatever, you're going to outgrow it. And that's the same thing essentially I did with my Silhouette. I already knew I wanted to cut out bags, and eventually I want to cut out like clothes because there was somebody in Gertie's patterns that cut out their whole entire like dress on the 25x24. I mean the 24x24. And I was like, that is outrageously cool. So that I say the same thing with getting a cutting machine. Get the biggest mat size you can get because you don't want to outgrow it. And because more and more bag designers are coming out with SVGs, like I was able to cut on the Silhouette the whole Shannon had where you had the inside in exterior pieces and the tabs and whatever, but I didn't pay attention to the first file. The first file was the exterior of the bag, right? So I was like, score, because it's a unique shape, and you need to make sure you cut out that shape really well so you can get that perfect crescent. She's like the first person I've seen that made a bag that's crescent, that there's like no puckers because it's like at a perfect angle. But they had the whole entire gusset. Now on the second SVG file, it was two gussets that you cut and then you sew together and you make one. But I was able to cut the whole entire gusset on the 24, and I literally lost my stuff. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I seen somebody else, they had cut out four, it was a two or three pocket pals on the 24 by 24. And for me, this is, I feel like I'm saving time and money. Yes, it's a lot more material all at once, but if I am able to walk away from my machine and it cuts out two or three bags for me, and I'm able to do different things, it's saving time. And for me, time is super important. Um, that's why when I do modifications, I take my time, and I really like I said, I'll be in my head, I'll be thinking about it before I go to bed. And Kendall's like, you need to leave work alone. And I'm like, I can't, the math. And that's why I'm really excited. I'm hoping that I can finish the bag tonight, because today's Friday. Kendall will be home and I can stay up as long as I want to sewing until I can double down it, like with Loki. Because the issue is it's spring break. My kids are kids. So if they're watching TV or they're on their tablet, and today they're probably not going to go out because it's raining and there's a storm now coming in Maryland. And yesterday was like 80 something degrees. I went out, it's so cold right now. So I went, they're going to want to do what they're doing. They're going to want to chat with their friends, do whatever. So asking them to watch Loki is like, yay, I have three little people that are all over the age of 11 and they should be able to watch them. Not so much. Kendall found that out too. He was like, he's going to watch them when I come home, and Loki just wind up coming into the room and going to sleep on his chase on my bed because he wants to play. So I got to figure out something else. I keep giving him different chew toys, but like when I give it to him, like I don't know, his little personality. So I'll give him the chew toy and he looks away. Like he doesn't want to take it. And I'm like, look, I am really trying, buddy. So, and then also I feel really bad for him because he keeps trying to scratch his ears and he's just itching the cone. So all of us have, when we see him do that, we all like start scratching his ears for him. But it's like, if it's not one thing or another, that dog is just like, I'm literally gonna have a cone on my head for a month. This sucks. I feel like he wants to just play so hard. Like the owl came down yesterday, and I like, so it's to the point when if he goes in the backyard, I have to go in the backyard with him so he doesn't go after a squirrel or an owl or whatever else comes back behind our fence, because that's what he's normally used to doing. And he's just like, he's seen the owl. He turned his whole body because you can't see through the cone to look at me to see if I was there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. You can't go after the I am here, Loki. No, you're not going after the owl. But yeah, he's being a toddler right now. Yeah, I like, that's what I hear the customer. I love hate. There's a love hate relationship with the brother Scan and Cut. I have, so I have all my Marvel stuff. Like when I'm doing Wanda bags or Black Panther or whatever is on that, and I still use it. But I have to do so many things on that mat. Like I have to spray adhesive on the back of my material, still put the painter's tape on everything, and it's going to be a 50-50. I cannot leave that machine because every time I leave that machine to cut, it does something else, and then I'm like, my eyes twitching, and I'm like, I'm gonna murder this machine. But I love it because I've had it for many years, and I have all these like cool little things. Now, what I do like for the Scan and Cut, I haven't tried it on the Cameo, so I don't even know if it is. But when I can't afford to make pattern pieces, like buy templates, I can use chipboard for certain pieces, and it cuts it on the Scan and Cut. But with that being said, it does it like once or twice, and that blade is no longer good. Like it's no good at all. And the blades for the Scan and Cut are not, the auto blades or the auto deep blades are not exactly inexpensive. I'll go for the off brands, but I've had hit or miss with the off brands as well. Yeah, reading the instructions. Valerie, why did I, for the Cameo? So Kindle was like, Shinova, it's to the point, have you guys already heard that I hate my printers? I always hate them. So I now just email Kendall things to print out for me, and he'll print them out when he gets home. So he was like, Shinova, I just want to through a whole ream of paper, because I gave him the Cameo, but I did not know it was like over 100 pages, but I have a binder now, and then I use Post-its for bookmarks for things that I'm learning at and what they suggest. That book is real. Like I tell you, my instructor book came with my Brother ScanNCut, and it was like one that folds, and it's not even 6 pages when it unfolds. I was like, Cameo was like, oh, guess what, Shnova? You're gonna do like a syllabus here. Here you go. This is what you're gonna be learning today in school. And I'm like, oh my God, why is it so it's so much? Yeah. And then Juki's dealership, if you have a QVP Mini, the main uh the main area where they fix it is in Florida. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the main person that fixes machine is Nathan, and he's Aussie. He is the coolest person ever. So with my Juki, I was hearing this weird grinding thing. It was the timing was off. So he FaceTimed me, and he was like, I'm surprised that you want to work this out. I'm like, well, if I send it in, I'm not going to see it for like 2, 3 weeks, and I'm going to be upset and depressed afterwards. So we like did all these things over the phone, and it was amazing. Like he's an amazing person. So if you do get a Juki and you do have an issue, when you call the customer service, you're going to get someone in Florida. And I believe if you get an Aussie guy, then you're going to be gold. He is hilarious, he's funny, and he's very knowledgeable. He was actually the person that when I told him that I'm looking into industrials, told me to go to Steve DeSoningo in Chicago. Um, and that's how I did it. I seen his name in Facebook world, but to hear the Juki people, like Steve sells Jukis, and they're amazing. He has amazing customer service, and he's absolutely right, because Steve is the same person. When you're buying something, make sure that you have really awesome customer service. Not those salespeople, customer service. Because Steve, I can call him tomorrow, and if my machine gets stuck, he will duo call, because he does not have Apple. He has a Droid like mine. So we would duo call each other, and I'll be underneath the machine trying to figure something out, and he will walk me through it. Or he'll make a video real quick on YouTube, and then I get the link to do it. So these customer service people make me love my machines. So just keep that in mind with everything. Yeah, I always want to do more too. Yeah, so you understand this. So the proprietorship is that was a huge theme for me. I don't want to be stuck with just like, or having to do hacks for stuff. Like I want to be able to do it effortlessly. Oh no, Brother ScanNCut and Cameo are completely different. Brother ScanNCut's by Brother, and Cameo Silhouette is, I don't know, I guess it's their own entity. I have both machines. I've had a Brother ScanNCut for years prior to anyone even talking to it. I would use it for bag making, but it was mostly to cut out my applique. I have a Brother sewing machine that's an embroidery. So what I did is I automatically bought that because my machines talk to each other. So if I am doing an applique and or quilting blocks, they could talk to each other, and it helps me out with my stitches and whatever. It worked out good. But what I don't like is that Brother, it's really hard to get other files that are not like Brother approved. You can do it, but you have to jump through all these different hoops, and it's super annoying. And one, I can tell you this, one time, I was honored, and I had the privilege to Tessa Mayfield by Not a Thread Pattern, Shannon, and she sent me the Brothers, and for some odd reason it would not work. I had to do for like the it was refreshing when I got the Cameo and I seen the test square, and it was actually, there was a grid that you can see 1 inch, because this grid is not in Brothers. So when I kept cutting out the materials, it kept cutting it at 80%. I had to blow it up to 120 on the ScanNCut, and it wasn't Shannon's doing. It was either my machine or just the way Brother is. Brother's not really receptive of taking other SVGs or other PNGs or any other files, from at least for me. But what I did, like, again, what I like is I could scan in an image, or like how I draw like Scarlet Witch's head, and it will cut it out. And if you have a higher end embroidery machine or sewing machine like a Luminaire or whatever, you can even get even cooler traits, like because your machines talk to each other with the brother scan and Ken and brother. Then I'm like, you should go for it, especially if you're doing quilting or you're doing embroidery. It does the brother scan and cut is awesome for that. Um, but there's, and like I said, I use a lot of chipboard to make pieces for pattern pieces that were difficult for me to do on paper because I'll cut through the paper. Um, but I have played a lot on the brothers, and now I'm learning the cameo, and I'm really liking the silhouette a lot. I want to throw it against the wall, like I've expressed that. That's pure frustration, but it's all part of my learning process. Oh yeah, Lynette. You, yes, the biggest one you can get on the brother is a 12 by 24, and it cuts incredibly slow. And the thing is if you bump up the speed, it will mess it up. I feel like I have to tape everything, and if you tape past the line, like okay, so when okay, this is that say this is the mat on the cameo. I'm able to tape past the line, and it still takes it. But on the brother scan and cut, if you tape past the line, these lines are read by sensors. It will keep spinning it out until you untape it. it's it you so you really can't use the full 24 by 24 if your mat is old. If your mat is new, then you're golden. If it's old, you have to do everyone does the tricks. Like I learned about the spray tape glue and painter's tape from different um like patterns. Patterns is a web page called Patterns. It's older than probably Faith, and and you can type up whatever pattern or whatever machine, and you can go into different forums and get information about. I do that with patterns like oh has anyone sewn McCall's da da da, and you can go in there and you can see all the different um like forms on it. But yes, that's how I learned to see, because like my patterns, my mats, it felt like they did not last more than 3 times, and it's a issue. It's an ongoing issue, and it also the mats have a chip reader and they read. You can't use it every time brothers upgrade. You can't use an old mat on the newer ones, vice versa, and that stuff drives me absolutely insane because like you put all this time and effort and money into things and you can't use it on the newer machines, and you're just like, this is all for naught. Oh, I read manuals. I'm sorry. I have to. If I'm spending money if I'm spending money on a thing, I read manuals for cars. Like I'm that person. I'll read a manual every time. Time is money. Hmm. Oh yeah, I had to do that. I did put one of his toys in. Um Last time because he wasn't drinking, they told me to open up a can of tuna or a can of chicken thing, which really Kindle and Hope like to make like egg salads with it. I'm not a big tuna fish thing fan, but like to put the broth in it because it has like the salt and sugar to help with it. So I dipped his toy in it and he like did it. He ate it, it was chewing on it for like 5 minutes, and then he just like spit it out. And then when you try to if you try to give Loki a toy that he doesn't like, he literally tilts his head to the side like, nah, bruh. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't stand this. Yeah, I think the HD9, um, Alexis from Ora Rosa sews on, and if you've seen her bags, then that will like let alone make you want to do it. And I believe if you ask in her group, she's really receptive, she's really knowledgeable, and so she will give you information. Yeah, you'll make friends with it. You'll make friends with the brother scan and cut. I have it where the 12 by 24 too. You can make friends. It's like the machines, you have to learn what your limitations are, what your expectations are. And if you're cutting out vinyl, go get the cheapest vinyl you can get at Walmart or get something that's on discount sale at Joann's and then play around with it. You got to just figure out what is good for you. Yeah, I like to order manuals. I'm weird like that. Yeah, they're in Brandon, Florida. You're right. I just knew they were in Florida. I know the name of the guy. I think he's an Aussie guy. Because here's the problem. I love people from Australia. And I like Aussie accents. I like just like those accents. And it's really hard when they talk to me for me not to emulate their accent. And it's not trying to make fun of them. It's just that their accent is so unbelievably cool to me that I want to talk like them. It's an issue that I have because it's the same thing with Samantha. Samantha has this like Welsh accent, and it is so cool, and it's so hard when we're in meetings and everything like that not to emulate her thing because I don't want her to be like, why is Chanel making fun of me? It's not that. I just think your accent is so amazing that I want to start sounding like. We also have in the Swoon group, the Swoon Sewing by Mrs. H and Bag of the Month. There's someone named Helen, and I don't know if you guys, if you send in a customer something like, "Hey, I'm trying to figure this plate out," it's Helen who answers it. She's from Ireland. Oh my God, she has like this lilt to her voice that I'm like, you need to be an Audible reader because I would buy books, wouldn't care about who the author was, just to hear your voice. Her voice is amazing. Yeah. Oh, okay. See, then 17 miles from your house, you're golden. Oh, okay. That's I did not know that. I did not know that they were. I want do. So does the Silhouette machines talk to Baby Lock machines like the ScanNCut talks to Brothers? Because I'm telling you, that is a feature that if you make anything quilting or if you're trying to do applique or reverse applique, the Brother ScanNCut tucks to your Brother machine. It's the coolest thing without you just need to have Bluetooth and they talk to each other. It's the coolest thing. Yeah, taking the time to understand them is the hardest part. Good morning. Yeah, I think my problem with it Cameo. One thing I like the fact that you can like the speed is super different. It's kind of like that's what I was trying to tell about the QVP Mini and the 5550. They're essentially the same machine, but the motor's on the outside, so I can like gun this thing. I can mess this thing can fly off the wall, and it. I feel like as you start sewing, is if you increase your speed. That was my issue with QVP Mini. Like when I'm doing straps and I'm like, I can see each stitch. I was like, oh my God, I can't. I just can't. But then I get used to it because my Bernina doesn't sew extremely fast, but I'm so entranced by the stitches that it doesn't bug me, I guess. Yeah, the mats are expensive. The mat reading thing is my biggest issue with I still have glue on my hand. My biggest issue from is my biggest issue for Brother. The mats and the like I feel like you don't get the whole space. Um I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one that uses painter tapes on their mat. And maybe I'm ghetto fabulous, but I'm not going to get rid of the mat. I will use spray adhesive and I will use painter tape. Yeah, Loki's doing he's doing good. He just wants to be really playful right now. Okay, so if anyone uses the blue border one, definitely reach out to Lynette. I use wait, hold on. I'm gonna show you my mat, but don't judge me, okay? um I use this. Don't judge, okay? I'm being honest and stuff. So as you can see, my painters see. Oh, Shannon, you can see this is yours. When I make the Mayfield. You recognize the pieces? Yeah. This mat has no more stick whatsoever. So yes, I have to do spray adhesive and painter's tape. Super sexy, right? And you can see all my last cuts. So, yeah. There's one that has Maggie 55's from Sweet Juliet. Like her that you I just use it for Maggie 55 Sweet Juliet's, and that is Shannon's. Yeah. And I think I pretty much write in permanent marker on the back of them too. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the it took a lot not to do Texas accents at So Magical Texas. I just wanna throw that out there. It took a lot out of me, and I want to do it, like and don't get somebody that has, like, a nice Southern drawl, and it sounds like they're, like they have molasses and it's just smooth. It it physically hurts me not to, like and because I've had people do, like, my accent, and because like, when you're from California, you don't think you have an accent, like, but you do, um, and I'm like, "This is so cool, this is what I sound like to you," but you don't wanna insult anyone, but, yeah, there's quite a few people in my life that have, like, a really cool accent, and I'm just like my uncle, his Spanish accent, he speaks our family, is from Spain, so they speak Castilian, and whenever my dad doesn't have an accent whatsoever, but my uncle does, and my abuelita had a heavy accent, so I would emulate her accent all the time. Um, it's just something it's something there's something about accents that I'm just like, "Yes, read a book to me." Yeah, see, I'm glad I'm not the only one with accents. See, now we're all, confessing and we feel okay about the situation. Yeah, all right. Shannon, we're doing air high fives because like spray and painter's tape. I don't think anyone wants to talk about that, but yeah, this is legit. This is this is the Mayfield. This- you can see the tabs. Yeah, this is the Mayfield one. I was cutting one out for Awesome Con because I want to do a Star Trek one because there's a lot of Star Trek people that are going to be there as guests, and I was like, I'm going to make one. So you spray down you have your glue spray, which if you're going to do either, if you don't have a well ventilated area, then I do recommend you doing that outside, or sometimes I do it inside like my trash can, but it's still, you're inhaling all that glue, and it's not the best. And then I put painter's tape down. I buy painter's tape weirdly a lot at Lowe's and Home Depot. I seen that, Deb, I seen that. I seen someone else tell me about the transfer tape thing, and I might have to look into that. I seen like a small video on YouTube. It was like a 60-second short where the person puts it on and now it's sticky again. I'm like, that is crazy because that will save my brain cells from the glue that I spray on. Because that glue is real. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, it gets really sticky and, like, you immediately have to put the clear back on because I don't know. I think it's me, my brother's mat, like, will like, it attracts everything. Like, I'm forever taking Loki's hair off. For him to have no hair, he sheds so much. Yep, there you go. Closed door, the fan on. Just do it safe because like that's something we talk about here all the time. We don't want to inhale everything minus the DST. No, because like Kendall, whenever I get a new double sided tape, he somehow is there and he's like, "Why are you sniffing?" I'm like, "Way wax double sided tape smells so good." And he's like, "Shnova, you need to not smell your double sided tape." Yeah. Okay. Like Shannon, put your TikTok information so that people can see because I like literally your reels are like they're they're like elegant and nerdy at the same time. So I'm always intrigued by them. I'm like, "Oh my god, how does she do this?" I just take pictures and then I make a reel. That's all I do. Snap, 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 and then I make it. It's really hard for me to do video because I have to get one of my kids. And when you get one of my kids, like when there's a reel where I'm making the Wednesday bag and I'm like sanding it down, and that one is actually Faith. So half the reel, half the video is like on the cutting table and the other half is not showing the whole bag. If I do Hope, she does it at these angles and you're like, my face is in here. I just wanted them to see me stand. Each kid films me completely different. I can't do it myself. I'm not going to lie. It would just come off weird. Yeah. Yeah, doesn't the Waywack one? And you know what I noticed? Susie from So Girly Fun. I didn't even think of this. So I don't know if everyone else's tape has like thread all over it. Susie keeps the plastic that it comes in and she takes her tape off. If you watch her in her live, she always sticks it back in. And I was like, I really maybe need to get into that, but I never keep the plastic. I do have a tape dispenser that I got from Serial Bag Maker for 1/8 of an inch, but somebody needs to create tape dispensers for 1/4, 3/4 and 1 inch. So we could just put them in and like just rip them off because it doesn't, it track once you open them and you don't put them back in the bag, they get, oh my God, it's like horrible. You're like, wait, no. Yeah. Yeah. So tape dispenser would be super cool and handy. Waywack, get on it. Or somebody here who has a small business, make a prototype. I will test it for you. Because I don't understand how, like, we have all these really creative tools. These people are making so many cool tools for us, and the sewing world, we need a tape dispenser for our at least 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna check about using contact paper. It does. This Waywax tape smells different from everybody else's. And he's like, "Can you not?" And I open them up so much. I go through so much tape, so much double-sided tape, especially when I'm doing applique. Like, I like to tape around the whole outer perimeter, but not within the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I do it like 1/4 of an inch away, but so it does not move at all when I'm doing applique. Um, I use so much double-sided tape. And right now, my favorite is 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch for binding and for straps. No, so Serial Backmaker had one for 1/8 of an inch, which I think she no longer carries them. And I do use that one for my 1/8 of an inch occasionally when I could find it. But I feel like people need to make one for like the 1/4 of an inch. I use a 3/8 of an inch from Tandy. Tandy's DST smells awful, but they are the only one that I know that has 3/8 of an inch. And weirdly, I use that a lot. I'm a glue junkie. I have glue everywhere. I believe in the power of glue. So, but I'm not alone because when I seen Sonar, whenever she sews something, she has like Magnetac or beacons like I do, and I have like a beacon in everywhere. Like, it's to the point where my family uses beacon for stuff because I love that glue. I swear by that glue. I think it's Magnetac and beacon are amazing. But yes, I think someone needs to come out with tape dispensers. I think it would be very profitable because we all use DST, and then make them in some super fun color. I would love like Lauren's glitter clip color on a tape dispenser. I like pretty things in my workroom. What fits all the tapes? Because you need to link that, Cindy. Yeah, because that like my mats, my tapes, anything with adhesive, because I'm bad. Like, I throw all the strings in the trash can, but sometimes, I'm sweeping up strings on the bottom of the floor or whatever, and if my tape falls down, now it has string that I'm picking off, but I'm so hyper focused about sewing that it does not work out. So, yeah, that would be good. That's my thing. Just also, um, I don't know. What else I would like to see is I would like to see. I wish there was like liquid chalk. That's another thing because I use chalk for everything. In most of my bag videos, you see me using chalk because it just dusts off. Just it flies off like it because Tandy pens are a hit or miss. Either they're amazing, I can take a baby wipe and just wipe it down and it's done, or I have like Tandy pen marks permanently on my faux leather, depending on if it's like textured, if it's like porous or whatever. So I use a lot of chalk because it always comes off. And then when I was working with the I was working with the black one. I was like, it kept, the dust kept flying off when I was trying to do the quilting. I was like, I wonder if there's like liquid chalk out there. Just throwing that out there. It's just weird things that I will like. Good morning, so Terry. If there's a liquid pen, I need to be on that. From what brand for the DST or the maps for the brothers mats for the brother ScanNCut? Because there's for the ScanNCut, it's either 12 by 12 or 12 by 24. I wish they had a smaller mat though. Like if you just want to do like purse tabs or something, it would. But it's because that it's used to that very. The sensors are exactly for 12. It makes it a little. I like how that's another thing I like of the Silhouette is I can use a smaller mat or I can use the large mat, and that's what I've liked so far. I'm going to look in scrapbooking. There are okay, so like most of us use 1/8 of an inch for like our zipper pockets or just like small things. If I'm trying to match up corners, like if I have like where it's the lining and like the exterior top, and I'm trying to make sure that they match so it's not like like this when it's together. I put double-sided tape 1/8 of an inch on one side and then match up just that one part so that way the lining I have the same with matching. So I use a lot of 1/8 of an inch. I use 1/4 of an inch when I'm doing like just like connectors. But right, I've realized recently that I like 3/8 of an inch way better than 1/4 of an inch when I'm doing like folding a 1 inch connector on itself. For straps, I like 3/4 of an inch or a 1 inch tape. I use a half inch tape for like silly things like for pockets to fold them so that way I'm not having to fold the lines and they're all even. I use tape for everything. I use glue for everything too, so I'm a glue junkie. Oh yeah. Oh, Brandy. I need to look at that video. Brandy's really knowledgeable. She like really opens up a lot of avenues for like supplies that people are not aware of in Canada. So if whenever she invites someone over, I highly recommend you to watch her videos because there are so many different small businesses out there that I was not even aware of until I watched one of her lives. Like there's a person that has Galaxy something and their foam is pink. And I was like, that's pretty cool. But you know who has pink foam too? And it comes in at 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, and a half inch. Cellrite. Cellrite has good double-sided tape too as well. They have 3/8 of an inch as well. Yeah, so you have to sell the older one, because all the mats don't work for some of the newer ones. It's super frustrating. But yes, Galaxy, she has pink foam. But then I was bored one day, and one of my favorite places to get vinyl, if I'm going to splurge, is Cellrite because they have really unusual colors and textures, and they do boats. And they have industrial machines too. They even have a portable one that I always tell people to try because I got to try one out, and those bad boys can sew a lot of stuff. Um, but they have pink foam. And it's not expensive. It's not as expensive as you think it is. It doesn't compress as well as by Annie, but if you a lot of my bags when I have like that puffy quilting, it's most likely the foam that I use from them. I believe they have 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and a half inch, and it's pink. Yeah. So go to Cellrite. They have the Fabricator, which is not a portable one. It's black, but they have potted like a potted industrial machines. And if you have a Cellrite near you, if you live anywhere near the ocean, there's probably a Cellrite by you, because they repair boats and make boating stuff. And yeah, they have tons of videos on it. It just there's not a lot of YouTubers that do videos on it, but even So Girly Fun bought one, and she was amazed on how well the industrial. She has 1181, and she got the portable one. So because she has a house in Texas and a house in California, so she could take it back and forth, and she was blown away by it. Yeah, the Ultra Feed. Yeah, it's a walking foot too machine. It's a portable one, and so I know a lot of people don't get an industrial because they don't have the room for it. It's not that they can't afford it; it's they don't have the room for it. There are portable industrial machines, and Cellrite is one of them, and it's a great business. They've been around forever, and they have amazing double-sided tape. Amazing. They even have a really cool. They carry the CSW hand press, and their hand presses have really cool grommet installations, as well as they have where you can make buttons. I know it sounds weird, but a lot of my bags I make the buttons with like the old school thing where you hammer it in. You can do covered buttons on their presses. I I love I love the sewing world. I love everybody has something different to bring, and I think it is amazing when someone else like says something. I'm like one of those people that want to absorb as much knowledge as I possibly can. Okay, the core tapes vary. Like the I feel like you get the most out of the 1/8 because it doesn't have a big core. But if you as soon as you get into the half inches, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch, the diameter, the diameter of the circle is so much bigger, and I feel like you don't get as much bang for your buck. And what's really weird is that one day I was looking at that to see how many feet you got, because we're all about measurements, and I couldn't find it on WAWAC. WAWAC. Wait, I always say that wrong. I'm just gonna call them one day and be like, "Can you pronounce it the right way for me?" Because they're right here in Philly. Like if you live in Maryland, you already or Maryland, New York, Jersey, you already know. You order from them, you get it pretty much almost like the same day or the next day because they're right here in Philly and New York. Cleaning supply. I That's another place I tell people to go. Like if you have a tailor, like a Zips and whatever, they always have like they sell starch, and that's what I usually use is the starch from them to starch my zippers before I use them. Yep, they have a traveling case. It's pretty cool. The Fabricator I heard really good things about. See? Faith works. Oh, I want to watch her just because my daughter's name is Faith now. I'm gonna look at her videos. The Fabricator is a beautiful one. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like it's aesthetically pleasing. Like I'm like, oh my god, it's all like I'm not gonna lie. Like I like Lauren's pink machine because it's pink. And then when I found out what seemed legit, she did her own. I'm like, this is amazing. Because the color that we get looks like stucco walls from the 80s. It's not a really cute color. Like, I like pretty things. I seen someone actually do their table too, like because the tables are wood. They took off the top coat or something, and they did like a marbleized. And I was like, holy, you could do. Why didn't I think of that? I think also the reason why I haven't done the machine, I I freak out if I don't sew for one day. So it has to be a while. Okay, see that there's all these fabricators on here. Yeah, the portal one, like, and if you want, go to So Girly Fun. She did a live with Kasaya and Rosie, and she talks about the fabricator there. It was the most recent episode, and I think I think it's good to know about different industrial machines because there's not just Juki. There's like you have Kasaya who does Kingsman. There's Thor. There's so many other machines out there. I know I need a lot of dispensers. I use because it drives me nuts seeing things on my double-sided tape, but at the same time, like I can't like Rosie like they were putting it back in the plastic bag, and I don't know if I have that skill set. I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, see, it's for the boats. Like there's so many different machines. Like I the reason why I tell people to look at Cellrite because they do boating. They sew with vinyl and leather to cover boats all day long. So they deal with really thick seams.
and thick material. So, and they use their machines. And I heard they have a really good customer service. I get speak for their vinyls and their double-sided tapes all day long. Yeah, it does look like stucco. Anyone that has an industrial machine, you know it looks like stucco. You're just like, ugh. And then it even has that popcorn. You know how like they like if you watch HTV, they always try to take the popcorn off the ceiling because it's like dated. That's what it's like, a weird pebble popcorn texture on all of my machines. I'm like, I seriously hate this color. And now that I seen that all these people are doing their machines cool colors, I was like, I want to have like I want one machine to be sophisticated, something to be like fire engine red, and the other one to be like a Tiffany blue. Yeah, it's the room. Hi. Yeah, it's the room. Some people cannot it's not about of being able to afford it, it's the room. Because Kendall almost had a panic attack. I was talking like he did not listen to me. I was talking about because when I had my live with Lauren, I we were talking about she said when she did Artist Alley, she would have 2 to 3 tables. And normally I get a corner table at AwesomeCon and I didn't get it now. And I was like, Kendall, I think I might splurge for another table. It might cost $300 or so that I can have my bags well wrought out. And he's like, we have no other room in your basement for another table. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about awesome. So he went into a whole panic mode because my room is a nice size, but because of how many industrials I have, it feels cramped. Yeah, the texture is gross, right? On this, just like if it was smooth, I would like it more, but it does not take stickers. When I see people do stickers, I'm like, are you using contact cement? What are you using? Because my stickers don't stick. On Tano, I do have Tano on the will, and it worked. It has been on there for a year and some change, and it hasn't came off. Uline has it. Oh my god, I might have to go look at that because literally tape dispensers will change life. Yeah, sometimes Celery does have free shipping. They have the prettiest vinyl, but it's just like the you have to get the price out of your head because you're like, I'm not paying $36. But see, I have a rule of thumb. When I like vinyl, I have to buy two because the straps and the crossbody is going to take up a big majority of it. Most vinyls can cost like $18 a roll, sometimes $12 a roll. So that's how I think of it is I'm not getting two rolls, I'm getting a whole yard that's like 36 by 54. But if you follow me and you've seen my the first Dooney and Burke one I made, everybody was flipping out about this blue color, and I kept saying Cellrite. It was boating vinyl, and it's different. It's different. Like I have used alcohol wipes, and the color doesn't transfer onto the alcohol wipes. I don't know. It just holds up a little bit differently than a lot of vinyls. It is thicker because you're looking at something that's in between a like a Mora and it's like the in between Mora, and it's not as thick as what is that vinyl that called with an M? The thicker vinyl, the marine vinyl. It's not as thick as that. It's in between. For sticker purposes, yes. I'm sorry. I have a machine addiction. You guys already know that. Yeah, Loki's doing fine. He's just being the toddler puppy and wanting to do jump, run, play. Like apparently, he's a weird dog. Like when I'm telling you, his balance is freakishly weird. Like Kendall wanted to name him T'Challa, and rightfully so. He should have been named it because he can walk on the back of sofas like a cat does, and you're looking at this 150-pound dog like you're not supposed to do that. Only a panther. And the way he walks too, it's like panther. So he's just frustrated that he can't bite or lick himself, and he's frustrated that he can't play tug of war with any of the kids or wrestling, or the fact that he's only getting like 3 10-minute walks because for the next 2 weeks we only do up to 3 walks 10 minutes a time, and if he's in the backyard they want to limit that too because they don't want his wound to be exposed to all these different elements. So he's just He's frustrated and he's expressing himself like a toddler. I think he was meant to be a cat. Like seriously, I don't know. And he has this thing. If you were to come over to my house and sit on the couch, he'll sit on your lap. I don't I don't know why. It's a weird thing, but I it's but all the vet people that meet him absolutely loves him because he's so lovable. Yeah, I have to clean it with alcohol. I'll clean the area with alcohol first, and then I also put my hand on it for a good 5 minutes so it can just make sure. But some stickers just don't do it. That's why I tattoo my table. Just whatever. And so now some of my tattoos on my table are fading. Like my favorite one is of the Winchesters, and they had Casson, and they all have like these halo angel flowers. And now it's peeling. And I can't remember where I got the sticker from. Yeah, he's being a pup. They corrected it. They had to put sutures in that didn't dissolve. That they had to do different kind of sutures because they say his body rejected the sutures. But it's just so it's just the little pouch that he had that had me alert. It's not there anymore. It's very very small compared to what it was. It's just he's acting like a kid. Like the only person I tell you, my son when he was little, he got meningitis, and he was in the hospital for like 5 6 days, the scariest time in my life. But when he came home, he had all these restrictions, and he was little. He was like 4. He was really really little, and he was so frustrated. Like, I don't want to watch TV. I want to go outside. I want to go outside. Why can't I go outside? It kind of reminds me of that, except Loki's, of course, is nonverbal, except the voice that I give him. That's another. If you watch Frozen and you see that Kristoff makes like voices for Sven, I literally do that with Loki. And so when I first watched Frozen, I was like, okay, it's not just me that talks for their animal. Yeah, Shannon, you would love him. Like the vet people, he's really a lovable puppy. He's just big. But like I honestly like I hardly ever walk him to the school because I know people have like a fear of dogs. So especially big dogs. So I don't want like kids panicking. But whenever I bring him, like 100 kids come up to him and he'll just sit there, wag his tail, sit there and they'll just hug him, kiss him, and he'll just take it. He's just a lovable pup. Yeah, he that lap dog stuff, that the Great Dane in him is the yoga puppy too, because I'm telling you that he can get himself in the weirdest positions. I can if I did a picture or calendar of Loki, he sleeps weird, he does the weirdest things, and you're just like, okay, why are you that flexible? Is it because you're a puppy? Yeah. Yeah. See, he wanted to do the Jungle Book name or he wanted to do T'Challa, and I couldn't do T'Challa because I can't. Like speaking of Black Panther always has me on the brinks of tears. So I didn't want to cry every time I say my dog's name. But his Loki's dad's name is Loki. And I was like, let's junior him. And he was like, okay, that name suits him because Loki's a little mischievous little thing, but you love him just like Loki. Like he's super mischievous, but he's funny. He does the most unique, funny things at the he's just a unique dog. Roxy is really like she acts like a dog. She's tutorial, she's like mother, she's like helicopter mom to my kids. Um, she doesn't like anyone outside of the house. Loki's just like, hi, I'm here. Let's play. I know. I'll take an update picture of him because the last picture was of him before the cone. I've been taking pictures of him when he's asleep because he has like a lot of extra skin because he's half cane corso and he has jowls. So if he is asleep on a pillow and his all his face fat is pushed through the cone, it is the cutest thing you've ever seen. Like you feel bad because he's in a cone, but at the same time, all the rolls are like undeniably cute. Only thing, oh yeah, that's the only thing. The medicine that sedates him makes him drool even more. And you know, Jowl, oh god, no. See, the only time I don't want Loki to give me kisses is if he eats kibble or water kisses. It's like getting waterboard. It's not a fun thing. It's not fun. Yeah. He sleeps on his back. He sleeps on his side. I've seen him fall asleep while he was sitting up. Like Kendall does. Like, I don't know if I think dog parents, sometimes dogs inherited traits that we have, and Kendall can sleep on you. Like, you could be talking to Kendall, looking at him just like I'm looking at you right now, and he'll be dead asleep in like 2 minutes. Loki does the same thing. You're like, how are you sleeping sitting up? That's not a skill set I want you to have. Yeah, Roxy was a rescue, and about a month before we got her, my Kendall's aunt died from cancer, and her name was Roxanne. I was like, let's name her Roxy, and for whatever the reason, maybe that really made him happy, and that's why we have a Roxy. But I did it because I have a IE fetish. With all my dogs I've ever had, they have a IE on their end of the name. So I, if he's watching this, he already knows. Yeah, and Cane Corso's jowls. Have you seen Cane Corso's jowls? His head is big like a Cane Corso. That dude's head is big. Like, Loki's head is massive. His cone is almost a 40. It's the biggest size you can get for a cone without ordering a special. And it doesn't really fit him. Like, he has rolls still coming in and out of them. Yeah, Roxy's a I have a yeah, good job, Terry. Like, there's something with the IEs. I had a Rocky, I had a Lucky, I had a Molly. I just have this thing with IEs. Yeah, his head is so big. And it's not fun if you accidentally get headbutt from him. It's not He's the first dog I've ever had that you don't want, like, I visibly don't flinch, but inside I'm flinching because if he bumps into you, his bones are so massive. It it's not fun. It's just like tug of war is not the funnest. If he grabs it and then you fling forward and headbutt him, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. It's he's he's his bones are so big. I'm not used to that on a dog. But Kendall wanted a big dog, and he got his big dog, and he does. He loves Loki. That's his boy. Um, but yes, I've been on here for almost an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to feed him and try to put him down for a nap. I haven't done this in a long time for kids. And then like just watch TV with my oldest and youngest, probably Buffy because it's vintage. It's not 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 gonna, I'm just happy they're watching it because Faith was trying to figure out why I named her Faith. So my mom told her it was the George Michael song, Gotta Have Faith, and it wasn't that. I named Faith off of Buffy. It's my favorite character. So now she heard her. She was like, "Is that why you told me to say 5x5?" 100%. You guys have a really good day, and I will talk to you guys later tomorrow. And I hope everyone has some kind of sewing time and you have a good weekend. Happy Friday, everybody. Bye.